So welcome to today's Communicast. This is the storytelling of good people doing great things in our community. With me are Ed Ithier, Blair, and Michelle from the Webster House. And there was a press release that just came out, the new announcement that Michelle O'Malley has stepped into the role of, is it CEO?
CEO
Of the organization, and Blair, who has been with the organization more than 10 years. So we've got an interesting mix of people. And Eddie is the president of the board, and we go back a long time. And Ed's been involved with Webster House since 1994. And one of the things Communicast has done for people is just allows us to tell the story of what's going on in the community. These are great community happenings. And I know that the first thing I do have to say is that Blair and Michelle sitting together have both been fully vaccinated, and allows us to not wear masks, have a conversation like this. And I guess what I'm going to ask is I'm going to turn it right to Michelle and say, what are your first impressions? You're here 2 weeks. Some of us know a lot about Webster House, some don't, but you've got a tremendous track record that you can see in a press release that says all the things you have done, fundraising and community. So welcome.
Thank you so much. So this is day 7 compared to Blair's 10 years. So I have a lot to learn about the mission, but I've been interviewing for a few months now, and I'm really proud and honored to be a part of this incredible mission. I have been really amazed at the staff that's in place. What I've been doing is trying to shadow Blair in everything that she's doing and soak up all of the information and the knowledge and the mission that she has been living and breathing, because ultimately I want to be able to go out into the community and build upon the relationships that already exist, and also nurture and create new relationships that will help support the Webster House and the incredible mission. I have been very fortunate to be involved in the community and have some good relationships, so now I'm going to leverage that.
Right. And let's, to be fair to people who have not fully aware of what Webster House is, since 1884, it's been a safe haven for children who can't live at home. I mean, in its simplest terms, it's an alternative place to be when they need help, support, encouragement for any number of reasons. And that mission hasn't changed, but how it's accomplished has evolved over time. And I can't think of a better time for this conversation than while we are still sitting in the middle of a pandemic, or at some part. Some people think we're at the tail end of it, but no one really knows. There are a lot of unknowns. We were talking about how the normal, going back to what was, is no longer possible or shouldn't be. We have technology tools that can work for us. We are parents, we're grandparents, we have children that are being raised at a time. I've got a grandchild that started kindergarten, first grade, so really has no experience of interacting with people other than in a Zoom or video environment. And now you've got an opportunity that even as we go back out into that public that we all want to share connections with, we have tools that we can use and things to gain from it. So how do you take the advantage of technology forward with you as well? Because it's not just for us to use with each other, but you're helping kids establish themselves. Any one of us can answer that.
Yeah, I can hop on for that. So technology has been a huge help for us with remote learning. We're used to the kids being in school in the community, normally not back at the program. So we learned to balance being social workers and teachers at times to really support the kids in their everyday needs. We use technology for face-to-face visits. So when we couldn't have in-person visits at the height of the pandemic, we still had some face-to-face contact, which was nice. So we're super appreciative of that. We've been able to still connect kids to jobs doing Zoom interviews. We've been able to connect them to additional supports in the community, to their mental health, their medical providers. So I think I see it staying, that's for sure, because you do have parents who are incarcerated sometimes, and now in prisons, you'll be able to communicate still with your family, which is a beautiful thing. You'll be able to maintain contact if you're having a sick day. and you're worried about catching up on school, I'm sure there's going to be opportunities to make up some of that lost time in class. And same thing with counseling. If you're not feeling well, you don't want to attend in person, maybe you can still have that conversation, get the mental health support you need, but do it virtually. So I definitely see electronics staying, technology staying.
Tremendous. And Ed, while you're president of the board today, you've been involved since 1994. So you've seen some things that haven't changed in terms of, but also approach, right? The city of Manchester itself has gone through tremendous changes. There's a lot of technology that's come in, and both of us come from a world of technology.
Mhm.
How do you see the world we're in today being beneficial to the kids that are there now that need help from Webster House, and to people who might want to help fund it, donors, and just even giving the job opportunities that are out there?
Well, I think, as you said, there's been a lot of changes, and as Blair sort of indicated, we've had to pivot in terms of how things are being done. And from the kids' perspective, which is our primary focus, I think it's giving them an opportunity to learn and adapt to different ways of doing things, which in a sense has helped them grow indifferently, because in the past, you're doing certain things in one way, you don't sort of learn, you don't necessarily go out of your comfort zone or do something different. And the kids that we're dealing with, change doesn't come easy. It's like anything, doesn't come easy if you're not dealing with stuff on your mind, or you have in your mind. So I think this has helped our kids grow tremendously. We'll give them opportunities from a confidence perspective that they can get through some tough times, and also build their self-esteem and their confidence as they move forward. I think all of us have come through this. I will say, when you talk about the technology and what the pandemic has done, is really made us do things differently that perhaps we wouldn't have done. So there has been some great things that have come out of this. And I look at, some of the kids that I've gone at the house that I've gotten to know, where they were and where they're at today, they're better. There was some pain in that, but they're better, and it'll make them stronger as they, graduate from the house or go on to better future endeavors.
And I see Blair nodding, and I think one of the things that goes with that is the kids get to see us adults dealing with the same kind of surprise of the moment that a pandemic has brought. It isn't the prescribed plan going exactly to form anymore. And that disruption is an opportunity for them to observe, because we are role models. People see more through observation than just talk. Right?
Definitely. They saw the human side, the true human side of staff. Like, we were in the same bubble because we weren't going out visiting everybody just like them. It was home, grocery store, here. That's like the extent of our travels, because we wanted to make sure we kept them safe. So we were feeling the same pains and like growing struggles that they were at the same time, learning how to handle remote technology, learning how to adapt to remote counseling and not having that face-to-face. So we had that same struggle with them. So it was a growing pain together. So the kids really appreciated that they could really relate to us, that it wasn't just them going through it.
Huge difference. And, it's a great transition to the beginning and end of this conversation, which is, I was wondering what to call it. And originally I was thinking big shoes to fill, because we're talking about an executive director, Lou, who was there for 36 years. And how do you step into those shoes? But the reality is, I'm going to let Michelle give us the final words on this conversation, because it isn't just the big shoes to fill of an individual, it's the world we're moving into. There's so much change around us that here you are stepping in with a lot of skill in fundraising and being in the community and pulling communities together. Your track record says that. And so now, as you step up, I'd like you to just share, what do you see as the opportunity for us as a community to support what you're doing, and best ways to get in touch? What do you need these days? Not necessarily what you're doing for first steps. How do we help you, Michelle?
Well, thank you so much. And I told you that I listened to Janine Toussaint's interview, and she brought up a really good point, that people actually feel good about themselves when you make an ask, and that if they're willing to give. So I've learned that people can either say no or yes. So like I said, at the beginning, I'm going to continue to shadow Blair. She's a wealth of knowledge and has been doing incredible work here. She was promoted to executive director, and then they created the CEO position. So actually the two of us are filling Lou's shoes, and she's going to do the good work here with the staff and the kids. And I'm going to take everything that they're doing and go out into the community and increase our visibility and make those asks and build those relationships and bring on more board members and volunteers. And we're going to have a marquee event, an auction event next spring that gives us a full year to really get our footing, get ourselves out there. But in the meantime, I want to plug our involvement. For the very first time, Webster House is going over the edge at the Brady Sullivan building on August 17th. And it is a 24 story building, 300 feet. And I said that I would go over the edge if Blair would. So the two of us are going to raise $3,000 each. We have 4 other team members. One of them is the new police chief and a couple of board members. And if you want to text EDGE 2021-36 to 71777, you can see our team page. And so that's our first big event that we are doing collaboratively, staff, board members, community, and we're really excited about this opportunity.
So you're certainly ready to make a big jump, so to speak.
That's for sure.
Or die trying.
The things we do for the kids.
So we're in it to win it.
Thank you so much for joining me today. It's excellent. Congratulations. Welcome to the community in this role. And it's an absolute pleasure to have all of you here today talking with us. And
Thank you
continue
so
to-
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.